Hi, everyone. Welcome to this week's episode of the DoubleClutch.ca podcast. I'm your host, Nick, managing editor of DoubleClutch.ca magazine, and I'm joined in studio by editor-in-chief Ben So and Nathan Leipzig.
Hey, guys. It's been a while. How are you guys doing?
Pretty good. It's good to have you back on, Ben.
Yes, happy to be here.
And for those who might not be aware, we are a dedicated gaggle of gearheads that have been running DoubleClutch.ca magazine for the better part of 10 years, more or less as an excuse to play with the latest and greatest in the world of cars. Ooh. Nick, what have we got this week?
We have the Toyota Grand We have the Toyota Grand Highlander Hybrid Max. That's a fucking tongue twister.
Contrary to Nick's butchering of the name, it actually is pretty grand. I'm a fan.
It's big. That's a big boy.
Yeah. It's pretty good. I like the look of it.
Yeah, that's terrific. Keep going, Nick. What else we got?
We also got the Accord Hybrid. We also have the BMW i5 M60. We actually have a couple of Beamers this week. We have the i5 and the X5 plug-in hybrid. And yeah, that's roughly what we got in
that's
the garage
where we're
this
at.
week.
Okay. So you guys, I have this Grand Highlander, and it's a loaded. It's a mouthful. I can't remember what it's called. So it's a Grand Highlander Hybrid Max Platinum.
Correct.
Or Platinum Hybrid Max.
So let's go over the number. I guess the different trims of the Grand Highlander, because it can get confusing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think it's like
ditto the powertrain choices too.
I honestly don't know the trims.
So there are. I don't know about the trims, but there are three powertrains.
Yes. So there is the 2.4 liter turbo, the new engine.
2.4. Yeah, that's the gas engine.
Yeah, and then there's
the
like. I'm going to say soft. It's a full hybrid. It's the 2.5 liter four-cylinder with the hybrid powertrain that Toyota's been making for years. Mm-hmm. And then there's the one we have, the Hybrid Max, that is the same 2.4 liter Turbo 4. I think it's the same powertrain as being deployed in the Tacoma truck with two electric motors to back it up. And it's 362 horsepower, 400 foot-pounds of torque. It feels and sounds great.
It goes.
Yeah. This thing moves along really well. Yeah. It's got a very natural power delivery. And like, Nick, something we were talking about, I think it was 2 weeks ago, when I had the Canyon Denali tester with its 2.7 liter turbo 4 engine. It sounded like really sewing machiney. Mm-hmm. Excellent engine, but just kind of sounded like a sewing machine, economy car piece of shit. This doesn't. This sounds like a truck. This is the acoustic throaty tuning that I was looking for in that truck.
Yes.
Yeah, the thing is fantastic. It's a home run on Toyota's part. You guys just been out in it. What do you think?
Well, I had a chance to drive it up for a little bit, but before getting into it, I kind of walked around. I love the look of it. It looks a lot like the RAV4, so I think a lot of people might actually just mistaken it for the RAV4. It's just a little bigger. I do like the look of it. It looks sharp. It's got decent room inside.
Yep.
The third row, it's kind of similar to every three-row SUVs on the market, so they are. It's a little cramped. Headroom's shy on the third row, which is kind of to be expected.
It's a little cramped, but it's a lot better than the regular non-Grand Highlander.
Absolutely,
for sure.
Absolutely. And that's the confusing part. Now we have the non-Grand, or we just call it the Highlander, which is a 3-row.
Yeah.
And then also now this Grand Highlander, which is just a little bit bigger. I like the second row's got the captain seats.
Yep.
Quite roomy inside. It's comfortable, and then just driving it, like you said, I couldn't believe how quick that thing is. It's got a really aggressive throttle tip in. So the second that you kind of tiptoe on the throttle, the thing just kind of skirts. It's really eager to get going, which is surprising to me because number one, it's a Toyota. Number two, it's a 3-row crossover, so you really don't expect that. Passing power, there's plenty of passing power on this truck. I really, really enjoy that. But there's not more to talk about except just how I was impressed how quick this is.
Yeah.
Obviously, we'll have to wait for the full week to see how we do on fuel. I think that's the priority right now. Everybody's mind is how, like, with 360 horsepower, how much fuel are we really burning? So I think we're too early into the test to understand that.
Yeah, but I'm going to assume in typical Toyota fashion, like their ability to amalgamate the gas powertrain and the hybrid and the way they hand over to each other like so smoothly and seamlessly, I think it's going to be, for what it is, excellent. And I don't know, it feels great. They've done a masterful job of hiding that it's a Turbo 4. You would never know. Like, if you didn't know, you wouldn't guess. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. The Hybrid Max, It does not feel like anything like a Toyota hybrid, because let's be frank here. Toyota hybrids, they're excellent in conserving fuel.
Yeah.
They're terribly boring to drive. The four-cylinder drones like crazy. That 2.5 liter base engine drones a lot.
Yeah, the old 2.5, like good engine, not a nice engine.
No, so I was pleasantly surprised getting into this with the turbo.
Mm-hmm.
I was impressed with the interior quality. Everything in there feels nice. It's a good blend of big digital displays. Not really keen on the graphics in the instrument cluster. They do kind of look a little dated already.
Yeah, there's two layouts for the cluster.
Yeah.
I don't like either of them, and I don't know how. I'm still figuring out how to get it to display the things I wanted to display.
Yeah.
Because there's 7 options, and 5 of them are just blank. So I don't know if there's something I have to set up that I haven't set up yet, or whatever.
We'll play with it a little bit more, and we can always circle back.
Yeah.
I like. There's a lot of storage space inside.
Tons. The center console is huge.
Right.
Door pockets are huge. There's just lots on the dashboard. It's very family oriented, practical, well thought out vehicle.
How many USB ports were in the back, Ben?
30.
I think we counted.
I think there's at least one per seat for sure.
Yeah.
There's 4 up front, if I remember correctly. There's 3 cup holders on each side on the third row.
Jeez.
So that's 6 cup holders in just the third row alone. I actually didn't count the second row, and then there's another 3 up front where we were, not including the door pockets. So there's plenty of storage space. There's a little bit of storage pocket below the kind of just below the center console. So there's more space there. It's great.
Yeah, it rides well, it drives well, it handles well.
It's superbly quiet. I couldn't believe how quiet that thing is. I couldn't hear any tire noises.
Yeah, the interior design's excellent. It borrows a lot from the Crown, which was also a home run.
Yep.
They've been Toyota's new products lately have been just nailing it. They've been doing so well updating their portfolio.
I do like the fact that they've kept the physical switchgear for the climate controls, which is
piano black buttons. It's all physical controls and no piano black.
Right? Considering what Volkswagen's done with the Atlas this year, it's quite the departure.
You had an Atlas, right, Ben?
I did have the Atlas, yeah.
Thoughts quickly?
Actually, surpringly, because they ditched. So the big update for the Atlas is they kind of got rid of the 3.6 VR6 V6 engine.
That's a good motor. I like that engine.
And then they replaced it with a 4-cylinder turbo, which I normally don't like. I like kind of creamy 6-cylinder engines. I actually came out of that Atlas. I did not miss the VR6. Surprisingly, I thought I would for sure. But driving it in the city, it's so much more responsive with that turbo. I hate to admit it because I love naturally aspirated engines, but these new powertrains are great. And on the highway is where I do miss the V6, especially I think at 120 kilometers an hour. The turbo does you can kind of hear it a little bit more, but other than that, the new Atlas is fine, except that they have also changed up the interior, and now it's got the new the new
infotainment and everything's capacitive touch.
Yeah, I forgot the name of it. Yeah, the Touch Pro or whatever it is.
There's an actual name for it?
There's a name. There's a name for it. Yes, there's a name for it. We'll have to read on my review to find out.
Nice plug.
Yeah,
very good.
But it's a kind of a touch sensitive sliders. The climate control on the temperature control, you kind of slide it. The volume, you kind of slide it, which is it's piano black. It's not illuminated at night, so you're kind of reaching into the dark when you want to make the adjustments.
I feel like it's easy for enthusiasts to make excuses for that in something like a GTI or a Golf R, albeit barely. But in a mainstream product, in a product as mainstream as the Atlas, that is a choice.
Yeah.
I think Toyota gets it right with the Grand Highlander. You still have a digital gauge cluster. You have a.
It feels tech forward. It feels modern, but it's not.
It's still easy to use.
Tech forward. It's still intuitive. It still makes sense.
Yeah.
You can use it with mittens.
Yeah.
This is a big thing that they thought of.
Wait, you're 30 years old and you have mittens?
No, I don't. But other people allegedly do.
Allegedly.
People have mittens. Ben, do you have mittens?
I've ditched them since I've got heated steering wheel on my Infiniti JX35. Thank you.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
Oh.
it is properly toasty. Anyways, I could go on for days about heated steering wheels.
They're magic. Okay, so we've all driven both between, say, a Grand Highlander and like a decked Atlas. What would you rather have?
That's a really tough one because I really like the Atlas's new interior.
Like, it's nice. They drive well.
Yeah.
Like typical Volkswagen stuff.
I also actually really like the Turbo 4. Like Ben said, I don't miss the Turbo 4. I don't miss the VR6 at all, except for maybe the soundtrack. Probably gonna go with a Highlander simply because as a mainstream product, you just expect it to work. You want it to have no learning curve in there, and I think Toyota nails that with the Grand Highlander.
Yeah.
Yeah, my choice would definitely be the Grand Highlander. It's, I as much as I like the Atlas, it's the infotainment that really kills it for me. The touch controls, the touch-sensitive steering wheel buttons that you kind of have to touch/press into.
Yeah, and kind of figure it out whether or not it's going to work this time or.
Yeah. Those things were a little, just a little too finicky for me. And we also know that there's, strong rumor that Volkswagen is going to move away from the touch bars. So that kind of tells you they also realize this is not well received. So other than that, I do like the Atlas.
Yeah,
That was
same
great.
here.
I like the one I had last year. Like, great vehicle.
Oh yeah, the Atlas is it's a proper kind of a dark horse, can we say? Not many. I don't know how many people really consider that. At this $50,000-$60,000 range.
I still see a lot of them on
I
the road.
see a
dude.
lot of them, yeah.
Maybe it's just where I am. I don't see many of them. I see a lot of Pilots and Highlanders where I am.
Makes sense. Speaking of hybrids, we also got an Accord hybrid in the garage this week. Ben, that's your press car. Why don't you tell us about it?
Yeah, so this is the new 11th generation Accord. So they've kind of just complete redesign. I like the look of it. I don't know. You guys have seen it. I don't know. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I had one earlier this year. I thought it was fantastic. It's like the only knock I could come up against it is that it's like sterile. Like it's just kind of bland and a little boring, but it's also like a family car. Of course it is.
Yeah, this is not the old Acura Legend or, like there's not those sedans.
Yeah. Well,
it's a family car, right?
It is a family car. I think it's just kind of funny because you and I have both shared Accords in the last couple of years. So you and I both had this car or something very similar to this car, right? This new 11th gen, like it's a loaded touring hybrid, right?
Mm-hmm. Correct.
Right. So you and I have both had like more or less identical cars, and then last year we both had 10th gen loaded touring sports.
Yep.
And like I found that car was a lot more engaging, a lot more like just satisfying to pilot, and like it's the old 2-liter, so it was just like a lot more punchy. The thing was genuinely quick.
Yeah.
Well, that was a Civic Type R engine, so that's the K20C.
Yeah, it's delicious.
Yeah, it's based off of that. It's not the same tune, of course, but it's a great engine. The hybrid, it's okay. It, gets you around. It's kind of what you expect. It's got a lot of low end torque, which is great. I think the motor helps a lot. So I never feel like I'm driving a terribly slow car, but it's also not one where I really want to keep pushing. Yeah, I'm more so watching my fuel consumption to make sure how much am I actually doing? Am I saving am I saving gas?
Yeah, and Honda's good about telegraphing that like very intuitively to a point where like you don't feel like you're being pandered to. You just kind of like it's on there on the cluster, and you just kind of keep it in mind and adjust your habits accordingly to keep it happy.
That's exactly it. The Honda one, it's there, and you sort of do. You adjust your driving style to
keep winning at the game.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like you don't want the number. It is a weird feeling. I'm glad you also share that sentiment because the entire time I'm driving, it's only been 2 days, but when I'm driving it, I'm watching that figure to not have it go up.
Yeah.
That's kind of the priority, and so far it's doing that. I'm not going to talk about the numbers yet because it's way too early. I've only had it for 2 days driving in the city, but everything else it works. I love the room on the Accord.
Yeah,
it's a huge car.
The previous one wasn't small either.
Yeah.
No, Accords have always been kind of an underdog because people are looking at the CRVs, looking at the different crossovers, and they forget that the Accord actually has huge.
It's a huge car.
The back seats are big. The trunk is good.
Yeah, like typical Honda uses space. Like
yeah.
Yep.
There's more space inside than you would ever expect. Like, it's almost like a negative space. It's bewildering.
Wow.
And I like the infotainment. It's simple. It gets the job done.
Yeah.
I like that they also listen to us, hopefully, and also other internet people, and they put in the volume knob back in. So there's a volume knob on the dash, which is great.
It's still like largely physical. I like their clean dashboard layout that they have on their new generation of cars. They kind of like flip between like, let's try something wacky and daring, and then, okay, let's not do that. And then, this is too boring. Let's try something wacky and daring. And they just go back and forth like on every generation.
Yeah. I think that this new one's a good blend of that forward thinking, that forward design, and also keeping it sort of more traditional and intuitive, I guess you could say. Because I absolutely love what Honda's been doing lately with their interior appointments.
That's amazing.
It really punches in above its weight. And this is a very OCD thing to say, but I absolutely love the way the climate controls just click.
Yes, it's got a nice click to it.
Yeah.
From the Civic to the Honda, to the Accord, to the CR-V, to everything up.
Yeah, nice haptics. Like Honda just spends a lot of time thinking about like just these little touch points, the way things feel.
Literally feels like something out of an Audi.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can hear the clicks right now as we're talking about it. I know exactly kind of the digital, the numbers kind of move. It's a nice feeling. I do like these new Honda for how they feel.
Yeah. It's a nerdy thing to talk about and to obsess over, but like you notice it. Even if you don't notice it, you notice it. It just feels nicer.
Yeah.
Even if you can't like quite put your finger on why it's nicer, well, it's because of this, because it is, because someone sat down and thought about this response, how it's going to feel on your hand. Like, it's all these little like attention to detail things that Honda's always been so good at. That makes the cars feel like they're a cut above, and they drive like $1 million.
Is there anything? There's nothing really else that like offers that same sort of baller on a budget feel as the Accord does in the midsize segment, is there?
Is it much of a budget anymore? The car's $50,000.
I thought it was like 40.
It's in the 40s, I think.
Yeah.
Really? I don't think it touched. I don't actually. I haven't. You know what? I take it back because I haven't actually looked up the pricing.
I think
It's 40-ish.
it was like well, Ben's looking it up right now, but when I had a very similar one earlier this year, I could have swore it like just crested $50,000. Now, granted, decked, like leather everything, power everything, like hybrid, like nice car. You were getting what you paid for. Not much of a budget anymore, though.
It's 46.9. So
46.9. Okay.
Yeah, it's closer to
that's
50.
That's up there.
But kind of mid 40s.
Okay.
No, there's not many cars. I mean, this used to be the Mazda 6 game.
Yeah.
Right.
But now it's gone.
And now they have an update. They haven't come up with a new one, and the Accord's kind of taken it over. Well, we haven't seen the new Camry yet. Like that was just unveiled a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
So we haven't really seen that one yet. No, the midsize sedan's kind of dead.
Yeah, which is a shame because they're good. They're my favorite. They make a ton of sense.
Yeah.
That's why I really like the Mazda 6.
Well, we all grew up around one, a sedan of some sort, and they do make the perfect family car. I think, and I continue to think, not everybody needs a crossover.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But unfortunately,
Not a lot of people grasp that.
no.
Yeah.
Funny how that. It's funny how that's not the only sedan we got in the garage this week, because we also have the brand new all-electric BMW i5 M60.
Woohoo!
So what'd you guys think of that? Actually, I haven't driven this thing yet. I've driven every other BMW this year. So
I
can
literally
assume,
tossed you the key today.
Yeah, and I went to go shoot it, and then I didn't. I went to go play with the Grand Highlander instead. I haven't driven the thing yet.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well,
okay, what do we think about the styling? Because
I'm not a fan.
I think it kind of works.
Do you think?
Yeah. It isn't as
because the 3 and 4 have the big sniff.
Yep.
No, just the 4.
Doesn't the 3 have the
no
big sniff?
Ben's right.
The M3 CS I had this year had the big sniff.
Yeah, it's the M3.
We're talking the 3. The 3 does not
The regular
have it.
3 Series does not have it.
Oh, goes to show what I know. Okay, but so the littler cars have the big sniff. The 7 has the divorced lighting and the big mustache sniff. And the 5
This
is
one
kind of
has-
almost playing it conservatively.
The 5 reason I don't like it is just I like the previous generation. I think there's substance to that styling.
Yeah.
The new 5 looks a little smaller than the last one. I think it is by design. They want to make it a little bit more sleek. But when it comes to kind of I don't know what this is, the luxury mid-size executive sedan, or throw in every fancy word in there. I want it to look a little bit more baller. It might just be the color, and I don't love the color on this particular i5. It kind of reminds me of a smaller car for some reason. So when I actually saw it up kind of from a distance, I thought it was a smaller car than the 5 Series. I always like 5 Series for how they look.
It looks small. Yeah, I don't think it is small, but it looks small.
I kind of like that about it.
Yeah.
It's dare I even say it's clean?
Yeah.
It's not as slap-sided as
like,
a 7?
Like front 3/4, pretty clean.
Yeah.
The rear 3/4 I think is like a little too busy. Like the rear bumper, like fake diffuser treatment does not jive with me, and it just looks kind of anonymous.
Yeah, I think anonymous is right. Like to me, I like the last 5 Series for how they look. They look a lot more substantial. The good part is it's with recent BMW designs, this is the least controversial one, I think.
Yes. Yeah. It's definitely like of their new designs, this one definitely plays it the safest.
Yeah. So I maybe that is a win. But so I got a chance to drive it for a little bit.
Yeah.
The i5. I always liked the BMW EVs. They drive.
They're great.
They drive pretty natural. The i5 is exactly what just like the i7 and the iX and the i4. It drives natural, tons of power. Like obviously, there's just no debate. Like this car will blow any car on the street that you see on in terms of like just passing, like sheer sudden passing. You just step on the throttle, this thing just launches.
Absolutely.
So and I like the interior to an extent. It's kind of a revision of what we saw on the 7 that debuted last year. Yeah, it's just a smaller version of it. I love the LED light bar that's in the middle. Yeah. So for those who haven't seen a picture or video of it, BMW has kind of added this kind of sort of crystally LED light bar in the middle that changes color as you drive. I think they say it as the mood changes. If you want to be more expressive, it changes to a warmer color, and then if you want to cool it down, they'll go blue or green or something like that. So I do like that. I like that light bar a lot. I think it's a tight, simple dashboard. So it gets away from like their usual kind of like bigger in your facey sort of dashboards. It's relatively small. You just have that light bar. You have like big fancy speaker grills and the screen, like the ultra wide screen, and that's kind of it. And the xDrive still exists, which I'm thankful for. So that's the rotary dial. I think on the smaller model like the X1, they've gone away with it and just gone straight. Really? Yes. Really? Yes. The X1 it doesn't have a rotary. Ew. So and it's weird because the X1 still uses kind of the same infotainment that from a BMW. So it's still xDrive but without the knob. Without the knob, correct. I'm gonna write them a stern letter. This is outrageous.
I totally thought, but like even minis have the knob, so I'm surprised the X1 loses it.
Yeah, they got rid of that on the X1, and then so I was happy to actually still see it on the i5. Yeah. In interior space is what you've come to expect with a kind of a 5 Series. It's smaller than the Accord, that's for sure, but they've always been. So there's no debate there. There's just a little bit more room than the 3. It's not a 7. A good amount more. So like the 3 is like kind of tight, whereas the 5 I can comfortably sit behind myself without even coming close to touching the seats.
And it definitely feels like it doesn't drive as much of a barge / a boat as a 7 would.
Well, that's because it's approximately a quarter of the size of the 7.
Of course, that's true.
The 7 is the biggest car in the universe.
Yeah,
ever.
It does have its own.
It's great. It's pull. Like it's like driving an apartment building, but like it also drives like an apartment building.
Yeah, that checks out.
Yeah,
but that's not the only. It's not all electric. I think you can still get the Turbo 4 in the base 5 now, but that's the only gasser you can get. There's no more B58.
I was gonna say, don't know how you feel about that. I do know how I feel about that. I don't like it. I should be able to get a B58. I should be able to get a V8. I should be able to get an M5. I get what they're doing with the M60 thing, is the M60 is replacing the M5 X5, X5M, whatever. It's the M60 is the new M now.
Yeah.
And the competition is the old M. So, like, I'm hoping we are going to get an M5 comp at some point out of this platform.
It makes sense.
It makes sense. They've never not done it. I think it'd be blasphemous if they didn't. The fact that we have to guess it all is upsetting. Like, you get, like, here's the slow one. You can have the gas slow one with the 4-banger if you hate yourself.
But I want a quick gas one. Why can't I have a quick gas one?
Why can't I have a decent gas one? I just, like, give me the B58. That's a great motor. Put that motor in that car. It'd be car of the year.
Huh. Speaking of B58s, we also have the BMW X5 PHEV in the garage this week.
Put that powertrain in this 5. 15 out of 10. Amazing car.
So a few episodes ago, I made no bones about how much I particularly enjoyed the Mercedes GLE 450e. This X5 blows that out of the water.
Yeah, because it has
Like,
2 extra cylinders.
Yeah,
And also has been blessed by Bavarian Jesus.
of course.
Yeah.
Speaking of Bavarian Jesus, I've been taking advantage of what's the
Drive Assist Professional, if my memory serves. Pro Pilot Assist.
active drive?
The one where it
something?
drives itself.
Yes, this
Yeah.
thing drives itself. I still have the same complaints as I did with the X7 in that the lane changes do feel perhaps a bit too abrupt. Again, par for the course considering how most BMW drivers drive. Yes, I did go there. But at the same time, upon picking it up yesterday and driving back to the office, which isn't exactly, it's not exactly a short commute, I can count on one hand the times I had to touch the steering wheel.
Yeah. It's just so good at everything, and now it's ridiculously good on gas too.
Yes, that X5 plug-in, it's probably one of my favorite new cars.
Yeah.
That just does everything. I had a chance to actually drive the same car that you're driving right now, Nick, and I took that on a 3-hour road trip up north with the family, and it was perfect. There's so much power. This is not a regular like don't think hybrid. And when you hear hybrid, people think it's a kind of a slow car, but no, this thing will move. This thing properly moves. I think it's got 500 horsepower?
So
480.
483 horsepower, 516 pound-feet of torque versus 381 horsepower in the GLE.
Yeah, so the GLE, like, we were all kind of thinking, oh, it's a 450. It's probably got the old 3-liter 6 still.
Yeah, plus the hybrid.
Because midsize SUV, so this thing should be pretty sweet. And,
Yeah.
like, yes, it's nice. Yes, it looks good. Yes, it drives pretty well. But, like, it was unimpressive when you put your foot down. And we're like, oh, yeah, I guess it is. We were all surprised to learn it was the 4-banger, whereas with this X5, fixes that. It is
Yeah, the
amazing.
X5, when you put your foot down, this thing goes and it sounds great.
Yeah.
That 6-cylinder sounds really, really, really good.
Yeah.
And it's so good on gas. Like, I remember taking it on the highway, and I think for the whole trip back and forth, this was a 6-hour drive. Kind of mostly highway, some city, and I did in the 5s.
That's ridiculous.
There was a stretch where I was doing it in the 2s, and this is well after kind of the battery, quote unquote, depleted, right? So because the battery only has about 40 kilometer or 50 kilometer range,
60-ish, just over 60.
Yeah,
It's
so
just over 60.
60 kilometer range. So the battery, should have been depleted, but BMW just somehow it gets the battery going just enough that it will kind of resume driving for a little bit and then goes back into the engine. But yeah, so I was doing it in the 2s, like maybe like 2.5 liter per 100 for a stretch of the time.
Yeah.
But overall, I did like in the 5s.
That's silly. Like, for something that's that size and that comfortable and drives that well, like, it is black magic.
Yeah.
I don't know how they do it. I don't know how they keep doing it.
How does Bavarian
but they
Jesus
do it. It's so good.
And it looks great.
Yeah, and it looks great.
It does.
I think the X5 is probably the best looking BMW you can buy right now.
Yeah, that you might actually be true.
Yeah, because it still has, like, the safe,
it's got
conventional, handsome styling with, like,
medium
contemporary
sniff.
updates.
Yeah. It's got a medium sniff to it.
It's got meat, but it's like the appropriate amount of sniff.
Yeah.
It's
yeah.
proportionate
It
sniff.
works. It
Yeah.
proportions.
It's got the new iDrive. It's still got like the older, less digitally kind of interior layout. It's a nice place to sit. Like, the thing's fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that X5. It's definitely one of my favorites.
Yeah.
I think my only knock against it is the fact that I have to dig into iDrive in order to change the distance, the following distance for adaptive cruise control.
Well, you can change it?
You can.
Oh, shit.
I know that.
Right? So,
Missed that.
I mean, logically speaking, and this is perhaps the only... Yeah, it's probably the only miss in the X5 we have. You can't adjust the following distance with the steering wheel controls.
Okay, so I've noticed this in the last few that I've had where there is no button for it on the steering wheel.
Yeah.
On the flip side, I like how clean the steering wheel is. For as much as we like this Grand Highlander, that steering wheel is a mess. There's like 40 buttons on it.
Yeah.
The BMWs don't fall into that trap. And I just assumed that function was gone. They just figured, well, Bavarian Jesus will figure out the appropriate distance. Don't you worry your pretty little head about it. And I didn't, and it was fine. So
I feel like it was a bit too far for my liking. Not that I tailgate people, especially behind the wheel at BMW, but the fact that it's kind of clunky having to like go into the infotainment system to like
just let Jesus handle it.
Yeah.
Ben, thoughts?
That's true.
Well, I think we also forget one huge point for the X5 plug-in is its price.
Yes, this is enormous.
Yes.
Thanks for bringing that up.
This thing starts at $90,000 Canadian, which is a phenomenal value for what you get. How much car, how much engine, how much space, how much luxury you get. The one that we have us tested is 107. It's got like a $15,000 premium package or whatever. But you can get this within $100,000. This thing is a home run.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, you pull that $15,000 premium package off, it is now comparably equipped to that GLE.
Yeah.
With 2 more cylinders.
Well, even then, our GLE tester, that was 102, roughly 102 as tested.
Right.
And this X5 is like $5,000 more expensive.
Right. For
it's
something
worth
that's way more dynamic, but not less comfortable.
Exactly.
Has a way better powertrain. Not better in that it's faster. Like this, not just being like hooliganism here. Like, it's smoother. It sounds better. It's nicer. It is not worse on fuel.
Yeah.
Like, it's just witchcraft.
Even then with our with the GLE, like that was still missing the drive assist package, so another $200,000 for adaptive.
$200,000.
Sorry.
Does it just come with a guy named Jesus to drive for you?
Hey, $2,500, and that gets you all the drive assists, including adaptive cruise on the GLE, which is kind of stupid when you think about it. If I'm paying $90,000 for a luxury SUV, it better be fucking standard. Regardless, once you take the drive assist package option box on the GLE, that takes you to about 104, 105-ish. But still, I'd still fork over the extra money for the X5. Mm-hmm. It's worth it.
Yeah. Well, look how the tide has changed. I thought you loved that GLE.
I know.
I thought 2 days ago you were.
I thought I did too.
We did like the GLE. Like I took it out, and like I'll be the first person to talk shit about Benz on this podcast because they've just been so disappointing for me lately compared to the cars that I used to have and what I grew up with.
Yeah.
And like, oh, this Benz fixes that. It is nice. It makes sense. It's well put together. I like the dashboard layout. The powertrain's fine. It's a PHEV. Okay, I'll accept it. And then BMW shows up and goes, no.
Yeah, hold my beer.
This is how we do it. Let's just throw some B58 at this problem. Solve everything.
Yeah. It's definitely car of the year material.
Ooh.
That's a slick segue, Nick.
That's a big statement, Nick.
Yes.
So we're kind of spitballing off, Mike. Like,
how
do we wrap up this podcast? So we're kind of starting to think about maybe talking about nominations for Car of the Year, kind of what we're thinking about.
It's towards the end of the year. We have quite a few 23s.
We drove a lot of cars this year,
under our belt.
Mm-hmm.
And basically from now until the end of the year, we
pretty much only had 24s.
Have all had 24s.
I think this X5 is a 24, so it does not count.
I think you're right.
I'm 90% sure it is a 24 facelift model.
Yeah.
Yeah, it has the big screen, so therefore
That's
it
true.
would be-
That's true.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
so next year we'll circle back around to it.
Yeah, and it's going to win car of the year next year.
Yeah. But for this year, what did y'all like? Let's not we're not doing awards right now. We're not crowning anything. Let's just what y'all feel like.
That's
What you
coming
like?
later.
What are your highlights this year?
Well, just off the top of my head, I love the Acura Integra Type S.
Yeah.
That's really a personal favorite of mine.
Yeah.
It's those who got to know me, I know I love Honda, so I am a little biased there, and I'll admit it. But I did not expect them to come up with a product that it's so well rounded. It actually it beats the Honda Civic Type R, which is crazy in terms of it's got more power than the Type R. It's got more luxury. It's got a heated steering wheel. It's got heated seats. It's
really good looking.
Right, and it looks great. It's got the flares. It sounds okay. It's just does everything for me.
Sounds okay is a big improvement over the previous gen Civic Type R.
Correct. Even with the current gen, I think this one just maybe because it has a little bit more sound deadening, which is kind of counterintuitive, but it kind of drones out a little bit of the unwanted noise and allows me to actually hear it better, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know what it was, but I enjoy that Integra Type S a lot.
Yeah. I think for me, the one thing that really punched me in the face this year in a good way was the goddamn Toyota Prius.
No.
What?
Yes, absolutely.
No.
Like, I was not... Okay, two cars. The Prius, only because I was not expecting it to be that much of a fucking blow-up.
I say no, but I knew. Like, it was. It is good.
Yeah. It actually looks good.
It looks great. Toyota's been nailing their new shit.
Yeah. And compared to what you get out of the previous Prius in terms of driving dynamics or lack thereof and horsepower or lack thereof, the new Prius is genuinely engaging and fun to ring out. So all-wheel drive is standard now. It's pushing about 200 horsepower. It's still not. It's not fast. I would barely call it quick, but it's pretty punchy off the line, surprisingly so. And it's one set of dedicated summer tires away from being a surprisingly good corner carver.
Well, I don't know if I would go that far, but
I would go that far.
But the impression for me is kind of driving it and like, why does anybody need an electric car? Where, if I'm doing instead of 3 liter per 100 on a very conservative estimate, so like this thing will do in the 3s all day.
Yeah. I averaged 5.5, and this is the standard powertrain one.
Oh yeah, this is the standard one.
The Prime.
Yes.
And I wasn't exactly taking it easy with that thing.
No, and so like it does so well on gas, and it makes me wonder like, why do I need to go for the trouble to charge it? It's got good range. It's a good commuter car.
Yeah.
I don't know if I want to, I'm gonna go as far as saying putting summer tires on it and carving corners, but it's a perfect commuter car for me. If I have to just go to work, go home, drive it around, yeah, the Prius does it.
Yeah, I actually never drove one.
I probably thought you took John's Prime out for a spin around the block.
Oh, I did!
Yeah, you shot it.
I did shoot it.
And
it was fine.
It was... Come the fuck on.
Like, not a bad product by any stretch, but like...
It's just not a B58, right?
Not a B58.
Well, yeah.
Can you imagine that car with a B58? And they already have the partnership. Why not?
Well... Can you talk about a car that you like that maybe doesn't have a B58?
Yeah, the Z4 M40i was pretty good.
I kind of knew that was coming.
Okay, let me guess what your list is. IS500, 300C Final Edition, Hellcat.
Yep.
It's funny because those are my top 3 too.
Yep. Yeah, those cars are the best. I want them a lot.
Nick, you just spent 10 minutes talking about Prius and all these hybrids, and then you're telling me the 300C with the V8. Was it like
with the big
IS5,
V8?
IS500 with a V8?
Well, my second choice for a car of the year would be the LC500 cab. That thing was fucking phenomenal. I still have goosebumps thinking about that.
The Lexus
car.
LC500, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
That car is really and I shot your LC500 Performante pack. That car is really good. Like still, really good. I don't know if I would take one over an IS500. I don't, but like it. That's the car Aston Martin should be making. It has like the sense of theater, the sense of occasion, the character, the driving dynamic, and the look.
Yeah.
The car looks, sounds, and feels like $1 million for $100,000.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's nuts. I take one of those over a DB11 without blinking every single time.
And the fact that it's just like that's not a car you buy for the numbers.
No,
it doesn't have a lot of well, it does have a lot of horsepower. I was like fucking
470, 470 something. But it's not fast.
It's like 0 to 60 in what, like 4.5 seconds?
Yeah, which is an eternity now.
But it sounds good doing it.
Yeah. The flip side is, an actual car of the year for me that qualifies because it's a 23 was the M850i I had in the spring.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. That's a
Ben, you and I have talked about this at length. Yeah, that car is wonderful. That does nothing wrong. It looks great. It has the sense of theater. It has the occasion. It's a big, sexy, dramatic coupe. It's another big V8, just like the Lexus, but with 2 turbos on it and mild hybrid assist.
It punches so much above its weight. I've constantly drawn all the comparisons with a lot more expensive sports coupes, and then I kind of go back and I'm like, yeah, but it's not the M850i.
That's the thing. And like what that car does, it manages to be like competent. It drives well. It is ridiculously fast, and it's a fantastic daily. I don't know how so many people are buying 911s. They're usually just getting used as dailies to sit in traffic, and 850 would suit them so much better.
100%. I think this thing's got 523 horsepower, which is so much for street driving. Mm-hmm. And I think what's remarkable is it makes that M8 competition feels a little less somehow.
Yeah, we've explored this topic like on previous episodes, but like I don't know, man. Like, why? I don't see the point unless you're in it for the badge, for the flexing, for the bragging rights. I don't think there's a point in going for the M8 comp.
But that's it. We've talked about this a lot.
It's like 9/10 of the experience at a fraction of the price, and it's arguably more comfortable.
It is not arguably. It is definitely more comfortable. It's got a better interior, I think, because I like the glass stuff. I really like the
the glass stuff. I like the super aggressive carbon buckets in the competition cars.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
Yeah, they're once you're in them, they're sweet.
They're great.
Yeah. Well, if you're gonna track it, yes, I get it.
Who's tracking an 8-series? Who's tracking
This is the thing,
such
right?
a big, heavy car.
Somebody will. I don't know. It's not gonna be me.
Like somebody's gonna do it, but the bottom line is, it's not like a traditional track weapon, just by virtue of how big and heavy it is.
Yeah. And
it's a great fast street car.
It's so fast, but then when you're driving in the street, I don't know if anybody can tell between an M8 competition and an M850i just driving on the street.
Yeah, the difference is just kind of wasted.
You're kind of splitting hair at that point.
Yeah, but it's not a product that's supposed to make sense. It's supposed to be like an aspirational, like, I want that one. I want the hot one. I want the juicy one. Like,
it is.
It doesn't have to make sense, but if you want to be King Flex, well, there's your car.
Yep. Well, there you have it. I think, it's a great choice, the M850i.
M850 is really cool. I like that car.
Great choice. The Prius, great choice.
Prius is cool. I'd still take a 300C. I love that.
over the Prius? All right, solid choice.
Yeah. You know what? I think the 300C sounds like slightly better than the Prius. Just as a little more character. Arguably sounds better.
But that's because the Prius doesn't have the summer tires that Nick wants.
Oh, you're right.
Yes, that's right. That's right. It's going to sound great.
He won't stop talking about it.
Yeah.
I think we should just do a project just to let him try it out. Live up your dream.
Just put PS4S's on a Prius and chop the muffler off.
That honestly sounds fucking wild.
Listeners, you should, I wish you can see the grin on his face right now just talking about it.
Let's fucking do it.
It's embarrassing.
So let's take a look at what's in the garage next week. Benji, you are in the Honda Odyssey Touring.
Yes.
VTEC, son.
Woohoo!
That's still a
VTEC
J35,
minivan.
right?
J35 minivan.
The hardest VTEC.
Hopefully
Yeah.
I hope it still has the vacuum.
You
Why?
plan on vacuuming things up in the...
I've got kids, guys. Like,
that's true.
I still want to return my press car in kind of a respectable condition.
So the car should clean itself so that you can do that.
That's true. Yeah,
Okay.
That's exactly it.
Okay. Imran's got the Mazda CX-90 plug-in hybrid, but it's a mid-trim spec, so it's the spec that people will actually buy.
That'll be interesting to see. Compare with like the last couple PHEVs we have with the CX-90 doing kind of like the punching way above its weight sort of thing, being the premium product without the premium tag.
I'm actually very surprised that thing doesn't have the Skyactiv Turbo 4. It has a normally aspirated four-cylinder.
Actually, hold on a second. Ben, you had a CX-90, right?
I did, yeah.
Yeah, I
Okay.
had the GT.
Right, and Nick, did you have a CX-90? Did you drive one?
I had the
You had the
gasser.
six-cylinder. Yeah.
Yeah.
You had
Okay.
the six-cylinder. I had the plug-in.
Well, there's no six.
No.
Oh,
No, how did the... oh, yeah.
What are you
That's right.
talking about?
That's
The
right.
CX-90.
That's right. That's
okay.
right.
That's right. Hang on.
Honestly,
Okay.
dude, everything has four cylinders.
This thing has
Okay.
a
I know,
inline
Okay,
six.
so
It's
now
got an
hold on.
inline
Let's
six.
backpedal a little bit. We got a bit of time to play with here. So I forgot about this as a 3-year-old because I keep forgetting it's in this segment because it feels so above its class. So between now this Grand Highlander and a CX-90, and like decked out, they're in and around the same price range. So a CX-90 Turbo, whatever the nice one is like 67-ish with the nice new straight six with like 340 horsepower. This loaded Grand Highlander Hybrid Max is like 68, if my memory serves.
Mm-hmm.
So they're pretty close. The Highlander is bigger
Correct.
and has more power.
Slightly. Yeah.
Yeah. The CX-90, I think we can agree, drives better. Quite a bit better, quite a bit more dynamically. Has a really unique straight six going
I
for
wouldn't
it.
say quite a bit, but it is better. Yeah.
Quite a bit more dynamic.
Yeah.
If that's what you want to do with your SUV, and there's enough X5s out there to show that people do. Right, guys, help me out, please.
Yeah.
Bueller?
I'm thinking. Yeah, I'm thinking. It does drive better. I wouldn't. I wouldn't say it's.
I don't mean that as a
I wouldn't
knock.
say it's X5. Right?
I don't mean that as a knock against the Grand Highlander. It drives well, but like the CX-90 drives like
I agree with you.
bewilderingly
The
well. Yeah.
CX-90 drives better. It's got a. I think interior wise, the Grand Highlander has really caught up. So
Yeah.
I don't think the CX-90 has as much of a kind of a advantage when as say the CX-9 had over the Highlander per se.
Yes. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
Yeah, the Grand Highlander has caught up a lot.
Yeah.
Powertrain, I think I'll take the 6-cylinder. It's just a little smoother. I don't know. Actually, they're both
It's
really
a tough
good.
call, man. Because
they're both really
as I
good.
was saying it, I was thinking like it's gonna be a slam dunk for the CX-90 straight six, baby. Let's do it. And then like I'm thinking about it, like no, man, the Grand's really good.
It's kind of not. I don't like the transmission tuning in the CX-90. And also the auto stop start system in the CX-90 is less than graceful. It's very delayed and and kicking back on.
It's
And-
definitely a first gen product.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
And you do feel the transmission kind of kneeing you in the back when you coast to a stop and it downshifts.
Yeah.
Don't like that. So that's kind of tipping me more towards the Grand Highlander. As much as I love the CX-90's interior.
Yeah. Interesting. Okay. Sorry. So continue.
Yeah.
Otherwise in the garage.
Otherwise in the garage, John is in the Lexus RX 350 F Sport.
Cool.
Gasser V6. Rush has a Jaguar F-Pace SVR.
Ooh.
And Nathan, you and I are sharing the 2024 Rolls-Royce Spectre.
How are we going to share that? What are the logistics of this?
We'll figure something out.
Okay.
We don't have to bore our dear listeners with all the details for our car shuffling.
Okay. Well, I didn't mean the logistics of it. Just like two guys splitting a car.
Yeah, well, you take a chainsaw and cut it down the middle.
Okay. I mean, it's big enough that we can do this. We can cut it in half and still have a reasonable car.
Oh, yeah, we still have enough car.
Okay. All right.
For
So
car
I'll rent a
purposes.
plasma cutter.
Excellent.
It's going to be a great time.
Let's do it.
Alrighty.
You help out, Ben?
Absolutely.
Very good.
Yeah, I'll get the rear. I won the rear seat, so you guys can split the front.
God
Sick.
damn it. Alrighty. Thank you all for tuning in to this week's episode of the DoubleClutch.ca podcast. If you wish to follow along on our adventures and misadventures, you can do so on socials at DoubleClutch.ca. And we'll
catch you next time, guys.
We'll
Thank you very much for listening.
Ben, thank you for joining us this week, man.
Great to be here.
Bye.